be too fun. All right, we're back with a little bit of Velomachus taking turns, but not the usual version that I'm used to playing. No. This is from other streamer and Magic personality BigB3n, Ben spelled with a 3. You can check him out at twitch.com/BigB3n, Ben with a 3, BigB3n for BigB3n. So he's taken the Velomachus taking turns list and trimmed a few places, etc., and managed to come up with this twist, playing the Fires of Invention card, much like the 80 card Urian versions of this deck. So Fires of Invention is 3 in red for an enchantment. It says you can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands you control without paying their mana cost. So what this card lets you do, in essence, is it powers up the value of Savor the Moment, because Savor the Moment doesn't let you untap on the free turn you get with it. But Fires doesn't care, because you can still cast spells for 0 mana. As well as it plays reasonably well your Time Warps. This deck is also playing some Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. This card can pick up either Savor the Moment or Time Warp in order to keep your turns rolling. And this makes it quite easy to get up to a Wrenn and Six ultimate in a kind of aggressive way. And then it's playing Explore instead of Growth Spiral. This is just a very small change, but because you're not playing Remand, it's a totally acceptable one that I would certainly encourage people to do. And then there's no lightning bolts at all here. Instead, we were playing some Chandra, Torch of Defiance. So this leans into more of the taking turns mid-range deck, along with having the Dwarven Mines, Indomitable Creativities, and Velomachus Loreholds, and does not have any disruption of any kind in the early game. No lightning bolts, no remands. So you're relying entirely on Wrenn and Six and Teferi, and a little tiny bit of potential interaction from Prismari Command to carry you through the early game up to 4 mana, at which point you're going to play a Fires of Invention or a Planeswalker or an Indomitable Creativity, and hopefully that will leverage quickly into your game win. Sideboard's a little bit different. We've got some Anger of the Gods here, Cleansing Wildfires as the other deck's playing Veil of Summers, Path to Exiles, and Leyline of Sanctity. So excited to see how some of these cards work out. Leyline of Sanctity, good against discard, good against the straight burn decks. So I'm interested to see how BigB3n's version of this deck feels. Obviously, I'm reasonably well known for playing the other version, and normally I was saying the Fires version was not good, but that's the Fires 80 card version. Now we do have to watch out for Velomachus not playing nice with Fires of Invention. If you've already played 2 cards on a turn, Fires of Invention is going to prevent you from using your Velomachus trigger to play anything. But I think we'll be able to do that pretty reasonably well. And then the biggest problem with the 80 card deck was that we don't have the ability to, or the consistency of having a one-shot kill with the dragon is much lower, because your turn spells are there's less turn spells in the density of your deck. So hopefully this works out. Blue-red prowess meta, no disruption. Yeah, I guess the idea is that Fires of Invention just sets you up so hard to win the game the turn you get it. Okay. No fetch land means I can't keep this. A fetch land means I could keep this, but I'm probably not going to. That's okay. This deck should mulligan extremely well, as the other version does. Okay. So, looks like we're leaning into Velomachus to get the job done on turn 4. If the opponent has a munitions expert or something similar, we might be in trouble. Could also just top deck Wrenn and Six at any point. Does not look like this will actually be goblins. Probably Grixis Death Shadow. if I had to guess. Yeah. This is generally a very, very poor matchup for us, and having to mulligan to 5 here is not going to help. But feels dead, man. Am I in the mood for the Zach song? You don't think so? I'm trying to remember it. I don't think I was in the mood last time, and I don't think I ever will be. Is that by that person that makes the songs about people's names? Because I thought we listened to it. And it just wasn't a very good song, in my opinion. Needs more drums. I remember it needing a lot of things. Stub me, sure. Oh, I'm very well aware, Crowley. As soon as I saw that they were on GDS, I was like, oh, this is terrible. I mulled to 5 and they had the turn 1 Thoughtseize. Like, we're super duper dead. The fact that they're tapping mana here means it is possible we could win. Because we can draw the creativity. Maybe they'll TBR here? Can't imagine why they would. I guess they're just saying, like, okay, I don't... Yeah, okay. They're just going to put me to 2 for whatever reason. Okay. I guess they assume I'm going to jam, which I guess I am, so, you know. Fair enough. Should have kept Tamiyo for Thoughtseize. Oh, yeah. This guy's thinking. Oh, yeah. That's how we do it right here. Bolt. Are you saying they're going to bolt us, or what are you saying, Unkempt Thought? I don't know. What bolt? The bolt that we're not playing, or? All right. So I think I want Veil and not Leyline. Bolt, fork, fork, fork off the top. Sure. Chandra seems pretty bad. Teferi's not great. Could be a reason to TBR that turn. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got you. Keeps me off fetch shock. Yeah, sure, but I mean, I had the fetch at end step there, so that wasn't like they. Yeah. I understand why they would do that. They were just admitting, but bold-facedly, that they had no counter magic, which I'm not used to. I'm not used to GDS players stepping on the gas like that. They usually just don't need to. They usually have 8 more Stubborn Denials after the first one, so... Paper and online, it feels like every time I play against GDS, they just have whatever number of Stubborn Denials they need. Literally, it was 2 days ago where they had 2 Stubborn Denials near the end of the game, and they had 0 other unknown cards in hand. One time they had Lurrus in hand, and then the other time it was literally their last card in hand. Yay! It's okay, we're going to set up beautifully, draw our 1-card combo, and win the game. Or not. Either way, I'm sleeping well tonight. It's 50% a tap-out deck. That's why it's so awkward. I don't agree with that, but I didn't play it that long. They play Scourge. No, Skirmangler. I missed this card being gone from the metagame. Yeah, Tainted Strike. The thing about Tainted Strike in a Death Shadow deck is it's like, you're pretty much already there. And it doesn't give your Death Shadow Trample or anything, so it's really... It's going to get bricked a lot. And now we enter the part of the game where we're just... the only thing that matters from now on is how many Stubborn Denials do they have in their hand. One. If our deck is one of the decks that sort of preys on things like Green Tron and Amulet Titan, GDS is the thing that preys on this deck. It makes this deck look completely pathetic. Our mid-range combo deck that plays 4-mana spells to end the game annihilates the 6-mana combo deck, but we lose to the tempo deck. Sure. Manly? Disdainful Stroke. Again, I enjoyed this world so much when no one was playing Disdainful Stroke. Oh. We're Spock in the Rock, Paper, Lizard, Spock. Does the lizard poison Spock? Is that right? Is that how it works? I can't remember. Because the MTG Rock, Paper, Scissors is usually combo, control, and aggro. And then the lizard and the lizard and the Spock would be tempo, which is like aggro control and like mid-range combo, I guess. No. You countered the last fires. If you had to counter this, you jerk. Good God. Opponent's just messing with me. Oof. That's brutal blitz. Did you get to keep the tickets that whomever donated to you, friend? Or whatever it was? Okay, good. So we're looking to draw... They have 6 cards in hand. Jesus. So unreasonable. That wanted the mine. It's fine. Didn't matter anyway. Okay, so that was fun. Yeah, blue-red prowess is some nonsense. Blue-red prowess is definitely some nonsense. I'm going to hit a really quick restart on the client here. It seems to be huffing along a bit. So deck is a little soft to Grixis Death Shadow. Not surprising at all. The changes that BigB3n made for this version make it even worse against something like that. So, yeah, I'm just not surprised at all. But Grixis Death Shadow was not on the radar at all when this deck list probably came together. So I don't blame Ben for that change or the way that played out. GDS was just literally something nobody was playing about 3 weeks ago. In fact, if you go and look at the Velomachus Turns article that I wrote, it has a sideboard guide for like 16 archetypes that were popular. And you can see the things that were listed or unlisted. Like, I think Storm is not on there, but Storm has been popping up a little bit more in the last 2 weeks. Blue-red prowess was initially not on there because everyone was playing white-red prowess. And I hadn't seen blue-red prowess in like 2 weeks straight. Oh, Blitz's account has been it was compromised a while back. His cards were stolen, and apparently they couldn't quote unquote recover them, which just makes no goddamn sense, right? Like what do you mean recover them? Like, can they not reimburse you for your account security being breached and compromised, and the fact that they don't have 2-step verification? And obviously they don't have to do that, but I don't know. That seems frustrating. Oh yeah. Okay, we're on the play. His hand is, yeah, pretty weak. Now we're cooking. Finally got a playable hand. It's not perfect, but it's very playable. Well, that's... ridiculous. Also, like, Blitz, is that even true? Do you actually lose? I don't care because I use the same password for multiple sites. I'm freely willing to admit that on the internet. And anyone who's like some kind of internet security expert can tell me I'm crazy to do that. But just like, yeah, that's just, I don't know. That's tough, man. Perfect. Okay, they should not be able to kill me. Well, I mean, Phoenix, that just has to do with, like, influence. One of our guys at our card store lost their deck, and we all sort of crowdsourced the replacement deck for him. Basically, everyone had to chip in like $20. It's a good kid. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, inequality sucks. So I'm gonna go ahead and plus this Teferi as soon as I'm allowed to resolve it, and just pray that they don't have the ability to put me to 1. As long as they can't go bolt, bolt, bolts, bolt, bolt, shard volley, etc. Well, hands, we don't. One of the problems with that idea is that involves them going not only to the people who the cards were traded to, but then the accounts that those were then traded to. Because in theory, whoever's going to steal cards knows how this system works, and so they're going to trade through as many links of the chain as they have to. And I think the problem at a certain point is that, like, WotC can't be bothered to go all the way down the rabbit hole, for lack of a better term. Okay, that's good. So this means we're not going to 1. Yeah, okay, excellent. So we should be able to win here. The odds are exactly the same as in the version of Velomachus that I play. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, obviously at that point, Roy, yeah, it's... So the fun part about this is going to be the fact that we have Leyline of Sanctities in the sideboard here, and we may just get some auto wins in game 2 and 3. Let's just not whiff here. Okay, that's 1. Yeah, that is a thing that happens, you mad. On the flip side, I worked for an LGS that wouldn't buy cards from someone that the owners deemed vaguely sketchy, because they were like, well, we don't want the police showing up and seizing stolen property off of us if we buy something and it turns out that it was stolen off of him. It was just such a weird moment for me. I was like, wait, seriously? All right. We're hitting the good stuff. So there is a Savor now in the deck near the bottom. So on the next turn, if I can, I would like to shuffle. which I can now do. I don't know that I want to play Fires this turn at all. Which is one of those weird moments where frequently makes me question whether or not Fires is valuable. But we shall see. Prismari Command could draw me into a Savor the Moment, which I would be able to play. Oh, we don't need it. We just hit what we needed, no problem. Turn 4 combo. Got him! Take that, burn. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Mr. Sneezy. Well, to be fair, Hands, this is not one of the matchups where Fires is going to make it necessarily better. I'm really tempted to immediately board out the Fires in this matchup too. But I think Wrenn and Six is probably the thing I'm supposed to board out. Which feels really weird. Tamiyo is super, super powerful with Savor and Time Warp and Fires. Chandra is a 4 CMC Planeswalker, or 4 CMC spell that removes an Eidolon, which is not a bad thing. Remand is really good in this deck. I feel like what I could be cutting here is Explore, which feels crazy, but like in theory, Leyline is going to do the work of keeping me in the game long enough. Fake City of Traders. There was definitely one of the LGSs in my area when I was a tournament organizer. They sent pictures around of a Black Lotus someone was trying to sell. It was a pretty good fake, but it wasn't good enough. Once people started busting out the like the jewelers glasses and stuff, it was oh, I should have mulliganed. Well, maybe we'll win anyway. We got that Fires thing in our hand, so you know. I don't know how I'm supposed to lose. Goblin Guide. No. We're gonna reveal the Leyline now. Watch. Time Warp. All right. Not quite. Not quite. Not quite. Oh no. Unless they're roying me. Are you roying me, opponent? They're not. Should have boarded it in the anger of the gods. Maybe we'll draw an Explorer. Savor the Moment on top. Yikes. Well, we have the Fire, so actually this could be good. All right, opponent, here's what I need you to do. I need you to kill my Wrenn and Six. If you don't, it will destroy you. You can't win with this on the battlefield. It's just not possible. Scoop it up now, actually. Get out of here. Go. Shoot. Get. Vamonos. So I'm at 9. Then I'm going to go to 5. Assuming that... Never mind. Never mind. I'm fine. It's okay. We were on the draw. We would never have won this game anyway, right? Even if I drew... Even if I had the anger in hand right now... I'm going to assume that human being got DQ'd. This guy's Dark Confidant is a 2/2. That's hysterical. That's As a judge, I would relish that moment because DQing someone is never gonna be fun. Unless it's so obvious that you get to have the moment of like, did you not notice your Dark Confidant was a 2/2? So let me tell you something. Things like that, if it's a known misprint, there will be judges at an event who would know about it. Nope. Oh my god, why? Can't keep it. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to pitch the creativity here, and the reason I'm pitching the creativity is I feel confident that without my face to burn, all their burn spells are going to be clogged up in their hand. And so they will be easily able to pick off a dwarf token if I try to go for an early creativity. So spear, sure. Top deck, Wrenn and Six. Top deck, Wrenn and Six. On a top deck, Wrenn and Six. Actually, Roy, the character in question you're talking about bragged about greatness at any cost. And if I was a Dark Confidant, the number one thing I would want to do if I was in a Modern tournament is get out of the Modern tournament. Because I feel like all I'm going to be doing is dying for my master. That just doesn't sound fun. All right, Dark Confidant, time to absorb another lightning bolt for me. Oh, I don't wanna. I don't want to be a lightning rod. Opponent's missing land drops and unable to cast anything. We're missing land drops and we're unable to cast anything. Good, good honest Magic the Gathering here. All right. Who do you work for, Goblin Guide? Shit. Oh. Oh, no. No. Oh, no. Bolt yourself for +1 damage. Do it. Rip Bolt. All right. If we draw the land... Come on! Another Teferi on top? You've got to be kidding me! Ah! Oh. What a stupid game. We'll see how much they can do with this. We're going to 7 at the normal amount. We might be going to 6. Shit. Creativity on top. Bull crap. That was god-awful. I'm all to 5, like, you know, well, what are you gonna do? Alright, well, that was a much better matchup than the previous one, and the Leyline clearly did good work. The rest of the deck just kind of stumbled and fell apart. So, like, I'm just not sure I'm supposed to have Anger of the Gods in there. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm supposed to board out Chandra's. Maybe I was thinking about it in the wrong way. Not that it would have mattered in that game. But this is just colossal unluck. I would like to be reasonably lucky for the next 3 matches, please. Oh, we played against Wildling Nactyl. So, winning in the Kentucky Open, resleeved your deck. earlier, which was double sleeve and random deck check, and I think 20 cards weren't all pushed in, and they give me a game loss. I was up against Ross Merriam, ended up losing a close game 3. Yikes. That's rough, dude. I would never change sleeves mid-tournament if I could help it. Tamiyo at Spicy Tech. I mean, Tamiyo has been part of the teamer taking turns decks for a while. So, kind of. Opponents on Mars. And it was in the 80 card Velomachus deck. Oh no, more Thoughtseize decks. Yay! Die before we cast Tamiyo? Pretty much. Yeah. I'm not impressed with Tamiyo overall. I mean, so the first matchup was the worst possible deck to play against with this, basically. And then we died to burn in a fairly terrible fashion. Like, the way game 2 and 3 played out was just nonsense. Like, it really should not have been anything like it was, and that's fine. It's Magic, that's what happens sometimes. Oh no. Yay, it's a version with blue. Well, if that's a stub, we get to dodge it. If it's a drown lock, we don't. Okay, we got a really strong turn coming up here, in theory. Okay, so it's GDS without Germangler, but with Expressive Iteration. Okay. I assume it's GDS. Or Scourge Shadow. Yeah. Put a Death Shadow into Exile. They can cast that this turn, but not with that land. And they scoop. I think my opponent screwed up their sequence there. Could be Sprite Dragon. Yep, could be Sprite Dragon. Oh, do you mean the Luris control deck, Brian? Usually that deck doesn't play Thoughtseize, but it can. I missed these paths when we were against Death Shadow. That was probably a big mistake. Not realizing I had path in the sideboard. Man, I'm just having a really hard time with this sideboard. Like, I mean, Chandra's pretty poor here, I guess. I'm just not, this is another deck where it's very tricky to figure out how to do my interaction. No, Explore is probably really not worth keeping, huh? That kind of makes everything a little bit easier. Yeah, right. It's fine an opening hand as any. Oh no, we lost a Wrenn and Six. Boo. But this is the kind of hand that's pretty good to have here. Just in that we have enough lands to do everything we need to. That draw is terrible, because I don't need any more lands for the rest of the game, essentially. But, alright, this is the danger. This is what I bought in for, I suppose. Here comes the second discard spell. With the bobble to make sure they get 100% information and value on it. The extra cycle lands in this build, though, might be very helpful here. They're holding up Drown and Lock again? Interesting. So much more controlling Death Shadow deck than I'm used to seeing. I don't know what to do with that piece of information. What? Did it... They bobbled me in the middle of the turn there? Just to draw, I guess. Which is such a weird timing. They could play Gurmag now. If they want to empty... Jeez. Take my one other spell. I've drawn nothing but lands. They can't play a shadow, though, and they tapped their blue there for goodness knows what reason. Bolts themselves, and then they play a shadow. Okay. You did it. Yeah. Reasonable draw is reasonable. You missed the head judge's dumb, funny jokes right before starting. Yeah, most of them had a couple. What the hell is this? Oh, sure. I miss getting to use my gigantically booming voice in tournament halls. God. Some people are put on this earth with some random ass talents and... Good lord, really? Yeah, okay. I guess. Okay, sure. Here's my dwarf. There are many other like it, but this one is mine. Please, Fatal, push it. Do it. Do it now. Yvonne, do it. Yeah, they will. Give me the delicious value. You know what's even better than the 2-for-1 of you wasting a removal on my dwarf token? You having to do it twice, you nerd. Yeah, look, we drew a land. How exciting. I know no one in chat was thinking, man, what if we drew land? Well, people, so you mad, someone should be verbally acknowledging life total changes during every time that they change in a match. So, I'm not exactly sure what your point is with that comment. Someone should be saying new life total is X after there's a life total change. Every time. That is part of tournament policy. Yes, nonstop, every time. It is part of tournament policy. There's a change in the game state that affects play like that, and there should be an announcement. No, but the more important thing, and I mean, I'm coming from the slightly greedy perspective of being a judge, but one of the most important things about that is that you just want to make it easier to catch immediately if there's a problem. People that don't write down their life totals, that is an infraction of the tournament procedure if you're playing at anything higher than FNM. So that's a totally different issue. Get out of here. Also, you get out of here. Boop. Bye, kitty. Yeah, those boogie board things are great. It was brought up at some point. People were like, oh, but what if they accidentally get wiped? And it's like, well, anytime it's accidentally getting wiped during the investigation, usually they're pretty hard to accidentally wipe. Yeah, I prefer to use a pen and paper, but that's because I like the feeling of pen and paper. Well, hope they... Oh, they can't recast it. You move into your new house in 4 days? That's exciting. That's awesome, dude. Uh-oh. Okay. So depending on what I draw... They're attacking me? That's awesome. Sick. Oh my god, I was going to be worried there for a second if they killed my Teferi. We don't say uh-oh in this stream? Oh yeah, we do. Unless you're saying something like, oh no, we say oopsie kittens. Which I do say sometimes. So I was about to oh, I see. I was about to be concerned that if Velomachus missed entirely, we weren't going to be able to win this game. But luckily I drew an extra Dwarven Mine. Oh my, whatever shall we do with this unfortunate turn of events? I suppose we'll sick a dragon on them. Well, Velomachus, go kill them. And make it choppy now. Snappy? Chop chop, I guess is what I want. Chop chop. Tally-ho, Velomachus. Tally-ho. Velomachus seems like the tally-ho kind of dragon. Especially with it being the sort of king of the archaeologists. Yeah, full miss, by the way. Full miss. If I hadn't had the extra dwarf, we were not going to win that turn. Now, we were still going to win that game, but jeez, this version of the deck is not treating me so good. I did not cut hits. I did not cut hits. This deck list is not my deck list. This is BigB3n's deck list. And I'm trying it out because he's been playing a very similar deck to what I've been playing, and he did reasonably well with it in a challenge. And I wanted to see what it was like. Thus far, I am unimpressed. He's basically playing a 60-card version of the 80-card Velomachus deck. With emphasis on some areas versus others. So Tamiyo can pick up Time Warps, the Herd of Meese. which if you have a Fires in play, lets you combo through with Wrenn and Six pretty efficiently. Yeah. Yes, the percentage of valuable cards to hit on the Velomachus trigger is lower. Yeah. Not by a gratuitous amount. It's mostly just the lack of lightning bolts, but somehow it seems like, I don't know, like really high. But this is a 1 league sample size, so your mileage may vary. So yeah, I mean, Tamiyo is just a really good card in a taking turns kind of deck. It's Tamiyo plus Fires makes Savor the Moment and Time Warp much more powerful. And then, was there another question? I think Growth Spiral is better than Explore, also that bolts are unnecessary. Well, so this deck plays Fires of Invention, which means you can't play on your opponent's turn anymore, which cuts out the instant nature of Growth Spiral. Plus, the reason to play Growth Spiral over Explore, generally speaking, is mostly comes down to the fact that because it's an instant, you can keep up either Growth Spiral or Remand, and a lot of the time in the early game that comes up, and you will do that with this deck, with the other version of this deck, and that's the reason why you play Growth Spiral, because otherwise I would just play Explore because it's less damage, and playing a Growth Spiral instant speed is not normally a big deal, but because it gives you the flexibility of being able to hold up Remand, which this deck is not playing. That's the most significant thing about it. Plains and Raugrin Triome. No companion. So am I excited to get my Teferi countered? I don't think that I am. So I think I'll just cycle this Triome that I picked up. Sorry, Last God, for being pedantic. I don't know why that comes on and off it like a faucet. I blame being a nerd. And mostly hanging out with other pedantic nerds. Growth Spiral can be pitched to Force Negation if that ever comes up. Well, we were playing Force Negation way back in the day. The earliest lists of the Velomachus taking turns deck that I play was playing Force Negation in the sideboard. Not anymore, but it was then. Valak at Stoneforge. Are they playing Lotus Lotus Field Control? Jeskai Flagfires, maybe? Could be. Could be. Prismari Command plus Wrenn and Six. Just my heart, friends. My heart. See why Ben likes the Amulet deck? The wins are very satisfying and addicting. I don't know about satisfying, but playing good decks is fun. I can't get behind the Amulet deck, but that probably has a lot to do with the first league that I played the Amulet deck. It completely failed for me, / I got hated out by everything that I played against. And I like 0-4'd the league, and I was just like, I enjoyed this as much as I thought I would, and it sucked. And I died. So, I don't know. Amulet is a very interesting deck to learn, but for me is not an interesting deck to play. Do you think Abundant Harvest would be good in some kind of modern 3 to 5 color mid-range pile? Certainly could be. It certainly will be. I mean, Abundant Harvest is going to get played in a lot of decks, and I guess we'll soon enough find out which ones are the good ones. So they had a Remand. They played Opt Remand. I think we just keep holding here. I mean, I've got Wrenn and Six as a threat here. They need to deal with it in some fashion. Yeah. Amulet just doesn't interest me. The last time I played it, it was super, super fun because whether or not it was correct, I was boarding in the sideboard Emrakul against control decks and casting it, and that was a blast and a half. It was hysterical. If you want a good watch of the Mana Symbol channel when I go offline, check out the YouTube, search up Amulet Titan, and if you look for the most recent one, wow, they're a Dwarven Mine deck. That was unexpected. Yo, Mono Black is viable after MH2? It should be. Certainly seems like it should be. Is it weird that I'm concerned about popping this Wrenn and Six because I feel like they're going to have some fantastic out? Harvest, Growth, Cling, and Ice Fang just seem like a nice array of cantrips. Yeah, but this is modern. You got to have more than that. Like, you got to have a lot of game win matzo ball. Opponent doesn't do anything about my Wrenn and Six. Because the way I discarded, I have to use this treasure to play Teferi. If I want to play a Teferi. And I have no untap lands. Play Teferi before deciding anything else. Right. And then I can pick up the land and play Indomitable if I have to. From there, you just play powerful cards. Well, they took away Uro, so you have to go into another color now with the cards you listed there. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're the Emrakul deck. If they're the Emrakul deck, this is going to be really easy. I discarded my extra Wrenn and Six. You miss Mystic Sanctuary and Omnath turns? Dude, I'm so happy that that card is gone from that deck. I miss Mystic Sanctuary in a bunch of decks, but they're like B tier decks. The A++++ tier decks that were also playing Mystic Sanctuary on top of everything else they were doing. No, I'm good. I don't need to see that back again. Thank you very much. I do not. Nope. I do not miss that at all. Omnath turns just like tilted me the hell off the face of the earth because it was just like it was just the biggest pile of just the most gross cards. The number of times I had them like dead on board and then I had to pass the turn like with them dead on board and they'd be like Omnath, Fetch Land, Time Warp, Bring to Light, Time Warp. Just oh man, I wonder if they're also on Through the Breach. Alright, about to find out, I guess. Sure. You do bounce a dwarf? They are. They are, in fact, going to bounce a dwarf. They don't deal any damage to my Wrenn and Six. This is over. Path my dwarf. Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do, Phoenix. Thanks for the follow there, Herd of Meese. Although, I have to ask the question, if the plural of mouse is mice, then how come the plural of spouse isn't spice? Think about it. Probably because spice is an older word. Good to know. What I know about the spice is that it must flow. The plural of spouse is, in fact, spice. Ah, like the plural of moose is, of course, meese. You know, my opponent promised they were going to speed up here, but... So for anyone who's curious about Tamiyo, this is the exact situation you want to be in. Now, obviously, ignore the Wrenn and Six having already ulted. So you cast the Time Warp. And then in theory, what would happen is that if we couldn't retrace the next turn, we'd be able to keep ticking up our Wrenn and Six. Which I'm going to do for demonstration purposes. Play the Tamiyo. Tamiyo picks up the Time Warp. Play the Time Warp. We do the Time Warp again. Tick up my Teferi. So now I've played my 2 spells for the turn, so pass again. This turn I go Wrenn and Six pings Teferi. Cast Velomachus. And if Velomachus doesn't hit a turn spell, we just cast the Time Warp out of our graveyard. I mean, at this point, I could win with a 1/1 dwarf. Hell, I could win by ticking Wrenn and Six up and then down, and then up and then down. If I wanted to. Squirrel! Yeah, look, we hit a Time Warp. Nice. I'll cast that. Plus Teferi. Plus Tamiyo, name Savor the Moment. Yay! Specian. I love that. No, the dialogue. I name Abandoned Reason. All right, so we're against what looks like a Dwarven Mine creativity deck. Cleansing Wildfire is probably really good here. Their number of basics is probably really low. Playing Teferi, which makes most of the rest of the cards here crap. I honestly don't know if I need to sideboard at all for this matchup, though. I mean, I guess they were playing a bunch of remands and stuff, so we could play Veil Summer. Yeah, probably should. We play so little, interaction or anything like it in the main deck that's really... I find it awkward to sideboard here. Chandra's going out. And explore. Actually, no, this matchup is not really about speed, so let's cut the explorers and let's get these cleansing wildfires back in so we can mess with them. We like path. Well, we didn't see anything out of them other than Dwarven Mines. I'm assuming they're going for Emrakul, and they have Teferi to protect it. So, our Teferi is our out against Emrakul. We just bounce it. And if they're not playing Breach, then... yeah, they're probably on Spider Space's list. Or at least something similar to it. Yikes. Alright, going straight to 5, I guess. There we go. That's a keeper. So, sometimes I would not jam here. This time I am going to jam here. I don't really have much of an explanation over sometimes why I do what I do when I do it. It's the fact that I otherwise don't have any interaction here, so jamming into what is most likely a remand, and then they could play it to Teferi this turn, but it means I resolve my Wrenn and Six on my turn, which is fine. If I do draw a land, I'll play my own Teferi. Then we get to have Teferi fights. Good old Hearthstone. Nope. Yikes. It's a very bad draw. You do not have any other counter magic. You never did, and you never will. Oh, or you have the best. Triple blue. My god. I wonder if they are on Creative Breach, but like a Creative Breach deck that's playing really blue cards? Maybe. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I put the Wrenn and Six on top. A stupid way to lose a game. Yeah. Well, not drawing lands was a pretty bad idea. And we would have, yeah, we would have had the Teferi and just bounced that. That sucks. Ugh. It's not the same deck, Jackie Chen. He's missing a color, and he's playing Emrakul instead of Velomachus. It's actually at least 10 cards different, but also missing Times Fog is better than Veil. Well, Fog was basically irrelevant in that game, Herd of Mises, because we were going to have to sacrifice all of our permanents, even if we weren't taking damage. So I would not say that Fog would have been a viable card there any more than Veil was. Veil I at least could have held on to and then cycled if I hadn't been jamming out spells that were getting remanded and Aether Gusted constantly. So, food for thought. Not that you actually meant that to be a serious comment. Wrenn and Six. Yeah. I tried. Tried to invoke it into play. Into my hand. Tried using the secret, man. Didn't work out. Yeah, same plan as last time. I mean, I'm not doing anything else, so let's jam. They did bring in Aethergus, which means it's more likely they didn't have anything for this Teferi, but then we didn't see any mystical disputes because we didn't play any blue spells, so maybe they have those. Maybe they still have Remand. Yep. There you are. Being great in these decks. Oh, maybe they're playing Prismari Command? They're not playing Archmage's Charm or some nonsense, are they? That would be insane. Okay, good. Discard an Emrakul. Right on. I do have enough time warps that if I had down-ticked, I might have been able to get them when they put an Emrakul in, thinking, aha, they down-ticked their Teferi, and I go, uptick Teferi, time warp, uptick Teferi, time warp, uptick Teferi, or down-tick Teferi on the third one. I'm pretty comfortable with my position here. Like, they can creativity for Emrakul, I just bounce it, so I don't know. But if they are playing Breach, which we just haven't seen yet, then that's bad. But I don't think that they are. I just feel like I would have gotten breached by now, but yeah, sure. Down ticket. Down ticket. Do it, coward. Nope. All right, fair enough. That was a very good draw. Was it? Not that good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I don't have double blue. Big mistake. Big mistake. Don't know why I thought I did have double blue, but I did. So now we're here. Based on how they played their last turn, I think we'll end up being okay, but that, well, at least it makes my Wrenn and Six a better draw than it was. I guess I could down tick Teferi to try to draw Fires. And then maybe they take that as their vulnerable spot to Emrakul. It's kind of crap if they end up having Lightning Bolt. Bounce the token. So they could just sack it in response Phoenix and then I don't draw a card. I'm not concerned about the token as long as I have a Teferi. And I can't imagine my Teferi evaporating in a whiff of smoke as long as his loyalty is above 3. No, it's all good. It's all good. I did that to an opponent before. They went to bounce my treasure token with their Teferi, and I was like, cracking in response. I think they killed their Teferi with the down tick. Like it went to zero loyalty when they down ticked it, so I was able to play an instant off of it. I think. Trying to remember the situation correctly. Here comes Emrakul. I assume. Maybe they're just trying to defend their Teferi. Probably not going to go well for them. Stupid Sacred Foundry just like got me with the art. For some reason, I saw this as a Steam Vents. I really hate these Zendikar arts because the colors are not as clear on them as these ones or these ones. At least with the Triomes, I just go by the name only. Yep. You got it. You have a 2-mana extra turn spell opponent? Yeah. For some reason, they just like suck the colors out of them, out of the frames. It's really strange. There are still pin lines, which are like microscopic on this scale. But I wonder if my opponent knew I could do this. Spring. That's a very good draw. So there's one more Steam Vents in the deck. Could it be an Eldrazi thing? I think it has. I mean, maybe it's because, yeah, I mean, they are Zendikar expeditions, so I guess seems like a really crappy reason to make them harder to read, but oh baby, Miss Liz with that big raid.
You can run, but you can't glide.
I need to get that clip of Buck Strickland. Hey, Miss Liz, 2 hot toddies. You like a hot toddy, Bobby? Hot toddy, calm your nerve. All right. So we almost have enough mana to play Tamiyo into a Time Warp. Almost. Infinite Teferis is kind of fun. Let's see if I can draw fires here. And then I would like inappropriate from inappropriate censored. Yep. But I mean, that's never going to happen, just like drawing the fires. Nope. Oh, but I had to play the fires, which means I can't play Tamiyo and the Time Warp. So they do get a turn here. And I can't cast the replacement Teferi. So if they have a way to kill Teferi, Teferi will die. I think we're in a good spot considering they're an Emrakul deck, but it's possible they have a plan. Didn't seem like it on the previous turns. Hot Toddy sounds like Lukewarm's nemesis. So we fizzled a little bit there. I don't really know that they can take us apart here, but they're sure allowed to try. I think of the set of things that they're looking for, there's probably Teferi and Lightning Bolt. But I can't imagine they can put enough together with that to be a problem. The only thing I was really worried about there was an Emrakul. They didn't have it, so this is... I mean, this was already over, but... Let me hit you with the free redeem there, Liz.
It's hammer time.
You know, get another Emrakul opponent? That'd be pretty neat. Exactly. So, I love that emote. Yes, well done. That's a fine looking spaghetti monster opponent. Gonna be looking fine in your hand too. Hello. Boing. Hi ho, hi ho. It's off to work we go. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. It's off to work we go. Like I could play a land, but we're good here. Don't need to do that anymore. Yay! All right, we 2-2. Feel like we're 2-2. Let's try to get that burrito money. I want. Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Oh yeah. We're against Joao Andredad. Andred. Wow. I drew an Explore in an opening hand with more than 2 lands. Wow. I didn't know that was possible. It's okay, Magic Online. It's okay. Oh yeah, Liz, did you ever want one of these fancy pants Magic the Gathering frame dealies? That can always make you wanna. My gut says inverter because there's no Luris. Inverter. It's gonna be inverter. They took the Explore. It's interesting. I was almost interested to see if they were playing Eliminate or something there. Pick off my Wrenn and Six. They're not. So So there's nothing that they could play off of 2 that I'm particularly worried about, so I'm just going to pass here Prismari Command at the end of their turn. They didn't see the Indomitable Creativity yet, so they may not actually understand what we're up to here. They just saw Wrenn and Six, Teferi, Explore, and Prismari Command. They chose to take an Explore. Maybe I'm playing this version of the deck wrong, just because I'm so used to the other one. They took the turn 2 Explore, and they left me with Wrenn and Six, which is such a strange choice. But, I don't know. So they don't know what they're up against. So... All right. Thought I was about to get Heroes Downfall in Modern. Cling? Sure. I ain't need that. So which of these cards do I want to play? Zero thus far. But I haven't played that many matches of the list with Tamiyo in it. Play a lot of cards that just kill our Drake. Yeah, but hopefully I'm going to be able to get the Teferi into play first. I think out of all the cards... No, I should have played Chandra here. If I was playing something that I knew was going to get countered, should have played the Chandra. The downside was, like, Chandra's just so bad. Like, she's so medium. Oh, there goes my Teferi. Or the Creativity. But either way, we're down a pretty good card. But this Wrenn and Six is going to be very threatening soon. That can buy back the Creativity anyway. What they take here should be a pretty good telegraph of what they're worried about. They take the Creativity, but they have a second discard spell? Yeah. What are they taking with this one? Teferi? Yeah, okay. Shit. Probably assume Emrakul? Yeah, I guess so. I'm going to play Chandra first, because I can actually go Chandra into Tamiyo. Jeez. Could explore here. Might as well. Gets it out of my hand and another land into play. One of the major problems I have with this version is I've got a Wrenn and Six about to ultimate, but the cards in my graveyard, without having Lightning Bolts or Remand in the deck, it's a lot worse. I guess I have Explore, but that, I don't know. Sure. Okay, so they're just setting up to win next turn, but they don't realize I can win on the spot, basically. I do have to draw a land here, because I have to use Wrenn and Six to get the retrace for my Indomitable. Sorry, was not specific enough. I needed an untapped land there. But they have 7 cards in their library? Wow. The problem with getting Velomachus is there's no way I can kill the inverter with any spell that I hit. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the play. Or I can... Yeah. And then I guess even if I hit a Time Warp and they block and kill my Velomachus, then on the next turn, assuming I hit a Time Warp specifically, I get to... No, we haven't used Wrenn and Six yet. Wait, their graveyard's empty? Okay, well, if this is a Thassa's Oracle or a Jace... So, what we could do is we could Indomitable their inverter into another inverter, and they'll end up with an empty library. But if the card underneath the Shelldock Isle is... I think playing Teferi is the smartest thing to do because it locks out the card here. And then if we hit a land, then... Yeah, this opens us up to... It's the ultimate roulette if you do it. This opens us up to a bunch of ways we could end up winning here. Oh, you know what we can do? If they're able to go for the win... No. If they're able to go for the win, we can Prismari Command to make them draw 2. So it'd be a pretty unbelievable situation they'd have to be able to get into. Yeah. So I don't know if this is the perfect way to play this turn, but it feels pretty damn good. Yeah, you can't take the Prismari Command. Take whatever you want. I don't care. My guess is they don't see this coming. But even if they do, I don't know what they could do about it. Like I really struggle to see what they could possibly do about it. Do they have Jace? No. Inverter again. So now they have a 1-card library? Okay. So you're dead. This was fun. We'll give them a treasure. No. We'll shock them. Enjoy! Listen, you wanted this. I didn't deck you. You decked you. I was trying to help. I'm a good person. Pro tip, good people don't normally need to tell other people they're good people. Well, that was fun. Oh, I have some idea, Phoenix. Because I'm some level as happy as you are about that play. Opponent says, oops. I'm gonna give him the :D. Oh, Chandra's really bad here, right? Yeah. I love a good :D. Hey! This guy. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in Leyline since they're like on up to 8 discard spells. I think Veil is good enough. Yeah. All right. That's a mulligan. Opponent found a keep. Yep. Serum Visions. A good name for a podcast. Boo! Big jerk face. You're a big jerk face, opponent. Your face is jerk-like and big. I don't mean that. Probably very handsome. Oh, I don't have the package for them. I got an awesome little snack Roy at the Asian grocery store today. I think it was labeled as egg roll, but they're not egg rolls. They're like wafer cookies, but they're not like the stacked wafer cookies that look like a brick. They're closer to like, you know, the ones that are like, they look like a cookie straw, but they're like much lighter than that. It's like super small little thin wafer cookies with like just a little bit of like chocolatey peanut buttery stuff inside. It's nice. They were super cheap, and then when I opened the package, they're like that each one of them is like weighs basically nothing. So I was like, I see now why. Well, I mean, it is a little confusing to call it an egg roll, in my opinion, just because like an egg roll is like the fried thing with, you know. But technically, if you take the coating of that and you look at what I'm talking about, like they're very similar. So it really is not the worst name for it. It's just like funny because like we usually associate egg roll with like the Chinese takeout kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. It's confusing and great, just like you, Roy. Remand. This guy. Whoa now. Opponent's playing sugar, spice, and everything nice. So this is one of the decks where Ward pay 3 life is definitely pretty questionable as an upside. Aether Gust. I'm definitely bottoming that. Draw land. Yeah. Let's just go win. Fetch before bottoming. Yeah, that would have been the smart way to do that. Yeah. When you explain it like that, Roy, it's pretty obvious. Savor. Okay, it's 1. Crash. You know how the odds work out? I'm pretty sure that is the right way to do it. We want the Prismari Command on the bottom. We did not want to draw the Prismari Command after that point. Because what I wanted to do is draw a land so I could go Fires, Time Warp, and then do this. I think that's what I wanted. I don't know what I want. Just like everyone else. That's the real truth. Well, I think I know what I want. But that's the same as everyone else. Right, we got it anyway. Yay! We did it! Yay! Alright, so we got the 3-2. So when this deck isn't stumbling around, knocking over its own feet like an adolescent, it is able to put some wins together. So, what do I have to say about it? I mean, the biggest difference with this deck is it just doesn't play like the kind of deck that I want to play. This is much more check out from your opponent existing for the most part. You have almost no interaction. You're just trying to put together this like powerful engine and win with that. The problem is, by and large, I feel like Modern doesn't let you do this, and this is like markedly weaker against things like Tron and Amulet, in my opinion. I'm not actually sure that's true, but I think that it is, especially in game ones. So, but for the most part, the first two matches we played, I mean, we were just abysmally unlucky, and or there was some awkward sideboarding calls from me. I am a huge fan of this Leyline of Sanctity idea as a way to blank, burn, and or discard decks. It's really hard for me to figure out how to balance that with Veil of Summer, and I just really haven't had that much of a problem with those decks with the other version. Burn is, it's not great, but it's not awful. Discard decks have been largely fine just because of Indomitable Creativity being the sort of one-card combo that it is. Having 4 lightning bolts in the deck gives you a pretty cool out against Death Shadow a lot of the time. And then, even though the density of hits for Velomachus here is higher, we did immediately miss with it. But again, I would have to look at the numbers in minutia to try to figure out, if they're actually that much worse or not. I don't generally like Anger of the Gods as a sideboard card right now, but I'm sure Ben has his reasons. Path was pretty good, and I think I missed bringing in the paths against Death Shadow. Chandra in the main deck just seemed generally awful. So Ben just 5-0'd with this list. I mean, he made 30-something in the challenge or high 28s. So it's not impossible at all, man. Like, it's not impossible at all. Like we just went 3-2, and the first 2 matches, I mean, the one against Burn easily could have been a win if we had drawn lands in that third game. And the one against Grixis Shadow was abysmally bad. I would guess that he did not play against Grixis Shadow in that 5-0. Or if he did, maybe he 2-1 them with some lucky games. But anyway, it's definitely better than the 80 card version. I don't like it as much as the version that I normally play, but it was worth looking into. I think Chandra is just a bad card for this deck generally. Just these slots, those slots would be better used elsewhere, I think. On exactly what? I'm not sure. What I would want is anything at 2. Anything that you could play at 2. Maybe just more growth spirals, to be perfectly honest. Because the way this engine's looking to set up, once you get it going, it's fantastically powerful. So I feel like Chandra being turned into growth spiral would be where I would want to go if I wanted to make any changes with this deck. Anywho, that is going to be it for me tonight. If you're in the future watching this video on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, check out any other videos you like, and let me know which ones you like the best in the comments of those videos, etc., etc. Do you know if Ben is done for tonight? Because I was going to raid him, but I assume he's wrapping up. He's still live, so we're going to raid him anyway, even if he's going down right now. I bet he's raiding me right now, but anyway. So I'll see you guys over there. Have a good night. Take care. Stay healthy.
Venom's a great dude. I love watching him stream.